Hi Leo, and welcome to your Soul Story Past Life Tarot reading for you and your twin flame. My intention for this reading is to look at, what you guys were working on last lifetime, what your life paths were, what your soul paths were, and then how all of that is coming out into this lifetime. I will read the Divine Masculine in this lifetime, on this side, and the Divine Feminine in this lifetime on this side. Now, if during the reading I feel that in past life that's coming through, your genders were swapped, I'm still going to refer to this as she and this side as he, just to make it easier for the reading, okay? So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to pull a card, Leo, to see, who you were to your twin flame, who they were to you, just like kind of your perceptions about the relationship and each other in the past life that's coming through. All right, so with the masculine, we have the Seven of Swords. And the feminine, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so right away, it's coming through that, in the past lifetime, there was a lot of lies and deception, and one of you definitely felt rejected, overlooked, abandoned, taken advantage of. And, this could have been like you both just perceived each other that way, because Divine Masculine is coming through as Seven of Swords, so that could be that he perceived his feminine as very dishonest and could not be trusted, or that's just speaking directly of his own energy, okay? And I feel it's speaking more directly of his own energy, because the feminine showing up with the Five of Pentacles, that's where she feels oppressed. That's where she feels, taken advantage of, used, rejected, overlooked. So the past life that's coming through, Leo, it looks like you guys were working on some really challenging lessons to grow spiritually. It's about honesty and integrity, and like how much a love and bond can withstand, like truly being tested emotionally and mentally, just with the way things played out last lifetime. So let's pull a card to see what your life path was and what the life path of your twin flame was last lifetime, or the lifetime that's coming through right now, I should say. All right, over here on the Divine Masculine, we have the Three of Cups. So that just really solidifies it for me that he was deceptive. He was a playboy. We got the Three of Cups right there. He just, I think he loved his feminine, obviously, but I think he had a really hard time committing. And for her, that just really made her feel quite rejected. Because look at, for her life path last lifetime was the Tower, okay? And that right there, oh my gosh, this feminine side up for some crazy heavy lessons last lifetime. She clearly wants to really advance and grow spiritually, and so that Tower, aligned with those Three of Cups right there, Leo, that's a feminine who had her whole world kind of shook and destroyed, turned upside down by her masculine, and either like his infidelities, or he could have had like some sort of addiction with the Three of Cups. And it's just like he put her through so much, and I kind of feel like in the end she lost it all because of him. So let's pull some cards to see what your spiritual paths were. All right, so over here on the masculine, we have upgrade. Over here on the feminine, we have self-discovery. So what I feel ultimately, was meant to happen here and play out between the two of you, and the reason why we have these challenges is because there's an element where you both wanted to kind of have an awakening this particular lifetime to like your spirituality. And I feel, based on everything this masculine put this feminine through, it ultimately pushed her to like an awakening, like a spiritual awakening, where she began to learn about herself and explore herself much further, and it like kind of changed her. In fact, with the Tower, it's like there may have come a point where she just really turned completely like spiritual, you know, and disconnected because of like what her masculine put her through, especially if he kind of rejected her. It's like, if I can't be with him, I will be with nobody, because that's the only person I love. Like, I just feel the feminine was very devoted to this masculine, but he, on the other hand, he liked to have fun. He liked to indulge in everything, and I feel that caused her a lot of heartache and pain, and that's what pushed her to her spirituality. And eventually, you know, this masculine's actions catch up to him in this lifetime, and, you know, it knocks him on his butt, and then he has an awakening, and he sees everything that he has done to this feminine as well as other people in his life, which actually activates him, and he upgrades as well, just as she did. But it happened at two different points along this journey with each other. So let's pull some past life cards specifically. All right, so we have finances, we have vows, and we have orphan. All right, so Leo, yes, I do feel, just based, because look at what the next card would be, forgiveness. I do feel that this masculine really screwed over this feminine in this last lifetime, completely abandoned her, left her behind, could have divorced her, and she got like no money. It could have been like she was already oppressed in life, and he was in a much better place. Like, he had more money, more status, maybe better family, just something along those lines, where he lived a much more luxurious and comfortable lifestyle than she did, okay? And I do feel with vows there, that's speaking to two different things. I do feel like these two married, okay? But it's like the masculine, like, just never fully committed to her and always had people on the side, because I just feel like he's very well-to-do. Could have also been very attractive. It's just like he could have whatever he wanted. And he played on that with her, because she came from much less than him, and so I feel like that's how he, you know, kind of controlled this feminine in this past life. And with the vows, it's either like we got married and then divorced, and, you know, she got nothing, or she waited forever and he never married her, but he married somebody else, okay? Like, this is some really heavy stuff, Leo. And then also with the vows, I feel that that's why she turned to like spirituality or religion, maybe even became a nun or something along those lines, because this masculine was everything to her, the most you know, stable relationship she ever really had in her life, okay? And I just, when it ended, I feel like she either became a nun or just very spiritual, and just that's like what her life became. But there comes a point where this masculine realizes all of his errors, all of his mistakes, and what he did to this feminine, okay? So let's pull. It may be like he was married to somebody else also, and it's like he kept this feminine on the side and kind of just treated her like a side dish. Like, I just don't feel like he was always drawn into her. Like, he definitely felt a connection, but he's such like a playboy, arrogant, egotistical, I could have whatever I want. Like, he never really saw her and loved her until like, you know, everything starts changing in his world, and he begins to spiritually awaken, because his own bad behavior is now returning back. So let's see what your twin flame journey looked like. All right, so we have twin flame love. We have awakening emotions. Enchanting kiss, repeating cycles and lessons, and long-term separation. Okay, yeah, Leo, with this, I do feel that, there was definitely a time when you guys felt very in love. However, this masculine was a playboy, and he felt a connection to this feminine, but it was like he wasn't aware of it enough to actually change, all right? Because we have repeating cycles and lessons, and so it's like the same thing over and over again. Like, I just feel like she always felt second best, second choice, even if he was with her, he was married to her, okay? I just feel like she was always feeling like, I don't really matter, I don't really count to you. And it's like, the cheating and the indulgence and all the things he would do, like, it just never ended, no matter what happened. And I feel like that's what ultimately caused the separation. But I do believe that you guys came back together before, like, the end, because with awakening emotions and twin flame love, here's where the masculine, because look at it's on his side, here's where the masculine, his crappy energy returns, and he begins to awaken and realize how deeply connected he is to this feminine. All right, so let's see where you guys left this particular story, before this lifetime, like. And with long-term separation, that could even be maybe the feminine passed on and transitioned before the masculine, and that might be what finally woke him up, okay? It's just like there's something that happens where he finally comes into his senses and sees her for what she is, her whole life. Like, she knows that this is the love of her life, but it's like something happens, either his own energy's returning and it wakes him up, or maybe she even transitions before that takes place, and that's what facilitates his awakening to see who he is, not just to her, but to everybody. Okay, so let's see where you guys left this. All right, so we have Destiny, 1111. So this is very spiritual, Leo, right there. She went her whole life, this is my one. And I feel, before he transitioned, he finally saw her for what she was. And it's not just like, oh, that's the love of my life. It's, who she was, the way she was, the way she loved him, the way she was there for him. He never recognized, as he was experiencing it, the way her energy was, shaping him and nurturing him and healing him and growing him until he was apart from her. And then, that's when he begins to awaken to her and the connection and like a deeper meaning to life. Like, it's not about the party, the flash, the show, it's about the experiences. Like, he really got that. Like, that's all that you take with you when you go is the experiences. Okay, so he really awakens before he passes on. I can't determine quite if she passes on first and that's what facilitates it, or just like a lot of really crazy things starts happening to him and brings him into that awareness. And look at that. So we have Destiny, and this is all about spirit, and now we have angel guidance and feathers. And then lastly, Autumn, reaping, a sign, a fortune cookie. Okay, so yeah, I really feel like she transitioned first, and that affected him in ways that he never ever anticipated or saw coming, and that rocked his boat. And then after her transition, like, he would pray to her, he would talk to her, he would feel her essence, her energy. And with reaping there, it's like in his mind he knew, like, I deserve this heartache, I deserve every single thing that's happening to me because of who I am. Like, there was a full sense of accountability on his behalf before he transitioned. And I just feel for the feminine, once there just came a point where she really switched to being like a spiritual or religious based person, and that was just her focus to the end of her days. It was that, like, that's the only place where she found you know, healing and things like that from this experience. Like it just, she had a really rough life, this feminine. So let's pull some cards now and look at, you know, what is this masculine's life path this lifetime, and this feminine, what is her life path this lifetime. All right, for the masculine, we have the King of Swords. Very intelligent masculine, meant to be a leader, meant to be honest, meant to have a lot of integrity, meant to lead people, to dictate, to share thoughts, ideas. This is not a small energy. Over here, wow, look at that. The Empress. I love that this is the masculine side and this is the feminine side, and a king comes out, and then the Empress, a feminine energy, comes out over here. So this this feminine is meant to be in a position of leadership, of empowerment, of abundance. She's a very beautiful person. It's not to say her whole life will be filled with abundance, but she's meant to have plenty this lifetime because of all the lack that she experienced in her previous incarnation. And, you know, just because it was so intense for her, she may have spent her earlier years in life in more oppressive, kind of lackful situations, but it's like she transmutes that energy, you know, and she becomes something very successful and stable this lifetime. She's meant to have a much different journey, as well as this masculine. You know, if he's dishonest and deceptive whatsoever, this lifetime, like, it catches up to him much sooner, and he's different about it. Like, he's meant to come into his full self. Empress over there meant to come into her full self for a twin flame union this lifetime. Okay, so I do believe, Leo, for you guys with this twin flame, this lifetime you guys are meant to be together, and it to be a more even playing field than what it was last lifetime. So let's pull some cards here to look at, you know, what your twin flame. Oh no, I knew I was forgetting something. I was like, wait, let's pull some cards to look at your spiritual path for this lifetime. All right, so over here on the masculine, we have the Gaia worker. Yeah, this is a much different energy. This masculine is much more in tune with his emotions and far more thoughtful than he was last lifetime. He might be a humanitarian. He might be spiritually gifted. He might be like an animal activist, you know, vegetarian, a vegan, something like that. Like, this person at the soul is somebody who really wants to protect all living things and has an empathy and connection to all living things. Okay, so at the soul, he is a much different vibration this lifetime. The feminine, we have the spirit guides. So this here being her spiritual path, just because of all the work she did in this last lifetime, I do feel, because look at its next, spiritual lessons, I do feel it was in preparation for this lifetime, because with spiritual gifts, this is either somebody who is like, you know, very wise, very connected to their soul, feels the vibes, could be empathic, like trusts their intuition, receives a lot of guidance and insight from the non-physical realm. Could also be like a medium or like a psychic, a reader. You know, I'm not saying that this feminine is spiritually gifted, but she has a very high probability of that, as well as being somebody who can handle a lot of stuff and get a lot done. Like, there's a lot of fertility about her, a lot of creative energy about her. She can like work some magic as well. Okay, so let's see what your twin flame journey is meant to be this lifetime. Okay, we have a message of ego energy. We have a twin flame union. We have 6 of twin flames. I don't know why I'm smelling pizza all of a sudden. There's no pizza at my house. Ace of ego energy. So if that means something to you. And then last, Ace of Karmic Energy. All right, so Leo, this here, we're definitely meant to be in union, in twin flame union with our twin flame this lifetime. And there will be a point of full recognition of this on both sides. But there's definitely a few lessons that will be learned because of the ego energy right there. And it's almost like the masculine loses it all, or almost loses it all, and he changes this lifetime, okay? Like big shifting and changing in divine masculine's life, which I feel is what, you know, makes him really connected into this twin flame union. Just, he has a wake-up call. I don't feel like his energy is as intense as it was in the lifetime before, but there's definitely things for him to learn, and he does, okay? And so with Ace of Ego energy and Ace of Karmic energy, that, Leo, could mean that in this lifetime you guys have a couple of, like this might be third time's a charm, like where you're together, you break up, you're together, you break up, and then finally you get back together. So I do feel there may be a few periods of separation within this connection, and if you don't actually separate, it's some periods of some really heavy energy that tests the relationship and the connection, all right? And some of you, because this would be the next card out, the Three of Karmic Energy, some of you in this twin flame journey this lifetime, it may be where one of you gets confused, where you feel very strongly for two people, and it's like, who do I belong with? So that could happen for you, that could happen for your twin flame. It's like, I do feel for some of you there's this karmic influence where there's, you know, big confusion. Is this where I belong, or is this where I belong? But ultimately, Leo, I feel like you guys figure it out and come back together, and the love, like the third time's a charm here, the love that you share, you know, when it's meant to be for the rest of your days, is something more beautiful and precious that you guys have had in several lifetimes. Like, I just feel like you both have been working on a lot of spiritual growth, and last lifetime was incredibly challenging for the feminine, and this lifetime I feel like the masculine is more in tune with his heart, his soul, than he ever was, like, last lifetime. Like, no way. He was a total jerk until he truly lost his feminine. And so this lifetime is kind of like history repeating itself, but not so intensely, and you guys actually getting that chance to make it right, okay? So, Leo, those are your messages. I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.